La Riojana is committed to caring for the environment and reducing its carbon footprint, and is therefore working hard to promote and encourage sustainable practices within the winery, vineyards, and with growers. As proof of this commitment, they have carried out a carbon footprint audit, the preliminary results of which show that the carbon footprint caused by production is relatively low compared with figures reported for wineries in Europe and Australia. La Riojana is one of the first wineries in Argentina to compensate for carbon emissions from the transport of its wines and has started to offset carbon emissions for its exported wines, specifically to the country of Sweden. La Riojana is also implementing a carbon-neutral program for the entirety of the grape-to-bottle process. This will include better water management, use of renewable energy sources such as wind and solar power, and bioenergy. La Riojana is hoping to install the first of 9 high-efficiency pumps in its organic, fair trade certified vineyards by the first half of 2011. The overall goal of La Riojana is to become carbon negative.
La Riojana is organically certified by ArgenCert, an internationally recognized certification service. The co-op farmers also follow sustainable agriculture practices in their fields. We spoke with Andy Mitchell at Han Winery to learn more about sustainable wine growing practices. Han Winery is located in the central coast of Monterey and has received a Sustainability in Practice, or SIP, certification.
Conventional is traditionally has been the use of pesticides and herbicides that are very effective. There's a good efficiency as far as kill. They're very, very harsh as far as chemicals and on the chemical side of it. So as far as sustainability, there's one of the things that is required is any of the materials that are on the EPA list considered carcinogenic, whatnot. Those are definitely off limits. So using softer materials than traditional, and in general, when you say conventional, a good portion of the industry is getting away from those. Sustainability is something that's catching on, whether people are certified or not.
Drip irrigation is an irrigation technique which enables more sustainable agricultural practices. This technique conserves water and fertilizer by allowing water to drip slowly to the roots of the plants. Mr. Mitchell elaborated on the relevance of drip irrigation to sustainable wine growing.
The use of submains, lateral lines, and drip tubing with emitters that essentially put water just where the vines, just very close to where the vines are, essentially wetting just where the root system is.
Okay, so it's a lot more efficient.
Yes. We've been using cover crops for quite a few years.
And what do the cover crops do?
They help minimize the amount of erosion.
Okay.
Because if you're on a slope on a hillside, you're definitely, anytime you get heavy rains, you're going to lose some topsoil if you don't have it held in place by either cover crops.
The co-op farmers further the environmental mission of La Riojana by employing the sustainable farming techniques explained by Andy Mitchell. La Riojana has placed environmental values as a top priority in their business model and has become a model company for the industry.
One of the benefits of selling a fair trade wine is to actually sell the idea of fair trade, and in this case, organic. But that is also not a benefit in many cases. For instance, when it gets to the store level, it winds up getting put in an organic section or a fair trade section, which is something that the general population is not necessarily looking for. So you can wind up with, you have a nice story to tell, but you can wind up in reality with lower sales because of it.
La Riojana has potential scalability through its increasing access to funding opportunities. For example, the International American Development Bank, IDB, recently approved a $2.9 million loan to La Riojana. IDB is the largest multilateral source of financing for the Latin American and Caribbean region. The loan will help the cooperative modernize its vineyards and wine production processes. This project will also strengthen the competitiveness of cooperative members through increasing their access to financing and modernizing their production techniques. World wine consumption is increasing by 4.5% each year. Most notably, the UK and US markets have become very important for new world wine producers like Argentina. In 2007, Argentina exported $93.5 million in wine and related items to the United States. Brazil and China are also top importers of Argentinian wine, and the large and growing population in these countries provides opportunity for increased sales. The current challenge for Argentina is to develop and market their wine brands so that they are recognized internationally for their uniqueness. To do this, Argentina needs to utilize their trade channels with Brazil, China, and the US. One of the reasons Argentinian wines are world-renowned for their distinctiveness is because there is very little oversight from the government in regards to labeling. The government's only labeling requirement is that bottles labeled by a grape variety must consist of at least 80% of that grape. The benefit of this policy is that each winery can then make minute changes to create individual flavor. The Argentinian government has also intervened in the area of wine diversification. Since 1994, the Argentinian government has been implementing a diversification policy in order to establish price stabilization through a reduction of wine in the domestic market and in order to promote exports. To reduce the amount of domestic wine produced, the policy requires that every winemaker turn a set amount of grapes into a concentrated grape must, which is a sweetener made from grapes. This policy has had mixed results because it has limited the ability of regions to increase specializations. For example, for certain regions like the Mendoza region, where La Riojana is located, it is less profitable for wineries to make the grape must. This government intervention has been controversial since its implementation. However, it continues to be enforced. In addition to this diversification policy, Argentina has promoted its exports through international agreements. Argentina is a member of the World Wine Trade Group, which includes Australia, Canada, Chile, Mexico, South Africa, New Zealand, and the United States. Member countries have agreed to mutually accept the winemaking practices of the other parties to the agreement and to facilitate trade in wine among the parties. These policies, as well as La Riojana's potential for scalability, indicate the positive direction in which they're going. La Riojana has created a business model with a bottom line that has wide-reaching benefits. Through its cooperative, their profits make significant social contributions to local communities. And its attention to environmental stewardship is an important focus to stay competitive in today's global economy. Additionally, La Riojana's participation in international agreements and achievements in global competitions highlight the breadth of the company's reach. People whom we spoke with about La Riojana had nothing but positive feedback to say on their business model and product. We believe La Riojana truly exemplifies a triple bottom-line business model.
Certified label, when you see that on the bottle of wine, you know that if it's a bottle coming from Argentina, Chile, or South Africa, that it's making a large impact in the communities that they're producing, that wine. And so every bottle, we say that every purchase matters, and it's true. For every bottle that you purchase with that label, there's some change that's going to happen to that community in an economic and social environmental way that really is a great impact for the community.